everyone. Before I begin my presentation, let me introduce my team members and myself first. My name is DIVIYA, daughter of KANNAN. She is YOKESWARI CHANDRAN and he is RUIPENG. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the unemployment rate during COVID-19 lockdown rose to 3.9% in Malaysia and 6.2% in China? Unemployed refers to those who do not have job but interested to work. Based on the Malaysian Statistics Department's official portal, the unemployed people increased to 610,500, whereas National Bureau of Statistics of China mentioned that 80 million of workers, including migrants, who do not have jobs during this lockdown. Today, we are going to talk on a high unemployment rate in Malaysia and China during lockdown. During COVID-19 lockdown, we witnessed our cousins and friends losing their jobs. The curiosity tempted us to investigate the reason why they have lost their jobs. Hence, the information we are going to share mostly based on our close-to-one experience and researches that we have done by interviewing the affected people as well as internet research. Our presentation today will focus on three main issues. First, we will inform you why there's high unemployment rate during COVID-19 lockdown. Then, we will explain you the effects of high unemployment rate on both countries. Lastly, we will share you the ways to overcome this situation. Let me move on to my first point. Why there's high unemployment rate during COVID-19 lockdown? It's because of own account workers, known as self-employed, have lost their jobs. As we know, almost every country had imposed movement control order, including Malaysia and China, to prevent the spread of COVID-19. As a result, all businesses were shut down during this period. Self-employed who earn daily wages tend to have high risk of unemployment. That can affect their income as well. The example of self-employed are small traders and entrepreneurs, such as farmers, hawkers, and caterers. In Malaysia, 1.3 million out of 2.81 million total number of self-employed have lost their jobs because they were unable to run their business during this lockdown. Moreover, in China, according to Julian Evans Pritchard, an economist, said that a quarter of China urban workforce is self-employed or connected to family-run business, likely have a fall in income. Now, I have explained about self-employed. Next, I will be explaining about declining in sales, which leads many companies face losses. When there is a loss in income statement, eventually there will be an increase of liabilities on company's balance sheet. Companies will face difficulties to borrow money from the financial institution when they face loss. Besides, no investor will invest on the companies. To avoid this situation, the accountant of the company will advise the employer to decrease the expenses, which is the employee's salary. There is a huge possibility to avoid loss when they decrease their expenses. Therefore, the most affected employees are temporary workers, fresh graduates, and the people who are at the age of retirement. To summarize my main point, this category of unemployment called as cyclical unemployment, which means people are out of jobs because of poor economy. Cyclical unemployment creates more unemployment and force businesses to cut their costs. This leads to my end of my first point. Next, I will pass on this presentation to Yokeswari.
Okay, thank you, Divya. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So just now you all listen why unemployment rate high. But do you guys ever wonder what are the effects of higher unemployment rate? I would like to start with my first point, which is all the households will spend a very lot of money due to this lockdown season. So why these are related? Of course, it is related because when people spend less, it will eventually shows decline in gross domestic product chart for both countries. GDP is an important aspect which determines a country's economic status. All the profit and loss will be measured and calculated using the gross domestic product chart. All right. Before moving to my next point, let me update the announcement of the government made recently. I bet you all know that our Malaysia government allowed some essential companies to work as usual with restricted rules. But do you all know for China, they are not allowed to do so because China was fully under lockdown and currently they are facing a situation where only the armies can control everything. Even for the foods and other necessary things, army will provide it for their people. So, can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So my next point is still lost in the labor market. The labor market here focus to mature age group of working people. Why then? It is because when they need to work from home during the lockdown season, there will be a huge problem they have to face regarding the technology challenges. Why this situation happened? The mature age group people will have less access to training in technology products. They are familiar with face-to-face job. It will be definitely hard for them to adopt the technology skills in very short time. This will indirectly affect their health too. When depression overloads, they will tend to resign the work also. Their higher level experience will be wasted if they couldn't adapt this situation as soon as possible. The number of skill loss in the labor market would be increased rapidly if the unemployment rate get increased. So yeah, I will pass Maru to the next point. Marupeng.
Hi, I'm Marvin, and I'm going to talk about the solutions of on the unemployment rate on the lockdown period. And I divided this part into two small parts. First one is a recovery plan in China and the free medical care. And under the economic recovery plan, people can go out and set up street styles without paying any tax. And for some specific companies, they were attempted to part of the actually is part of the tax to and the second and last one to encourage the tourism revenue. So the most views in the country, in China, visited free for Chinese people. And the second point is that the short-term plan and the use and Malaysia uses CHR approach to also to encourage economics and and in Malaysia it's actually is similar with China also has a economic recovery plan and in Malaysia first of the six R approach. So first one is start with resolve, resistance, restart, and recovery, revitalize, and reform. In resolving the health and economy challenges due to the COVID-19 epidemic, And and I also have one point add to the Chinese policy. And as I mentioned, we have free medical care for those people who get sick from COVID-19. And actually, this is not directly related to the unemployment rate, but actually it help the people who lose their job. So at the end, here's a conclusion from our group. As we all know, recently due to the outbreak of COVID-19, in order to control the spread of the epidemic, so many countries choose to shut down their country and shut down their country. And our example used in the slide is Malaysia and China. So this country actually is the unemployment rate of these two countries actually is decreased increased actually, but fortunately both government China and Malaysia doing well to deal with the bad economy situation, because we published the economy recovery plan punctually. And that's all from us. And thank you at the end of the presentation. Thank you.